going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
Ryan Reynolds has made countless people laugh on the big screen. From his quick-witted roles in superhero blockbusters to his lighthearted interviews, he's often been seen as the charming, playful star who can do no wrong. Yet on a recent, highly publicized night at the 50th anniversary of Saturday Night Live, he dropped his guard for a split second, and that single moment may have unraveled everything he and his wife, Blake Lively, had worked so tirelessly to protect. From the outside, the moment was easy to miss. A brief exchange about how Ryan was doing, punctuated by his mischievous grin. But what seemed like harmless banter sent shockwaves through Hollywood and the internet. Suddenly, the narrative shifted, and viewers began dissecting not only Ryan's joke, but also the massive lawsuit entangling Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, and, by extension, Ryan himself. That fleeting instant on live television became the crack through which all the pent-up rumors, allegations, and controversies came spilling out. But was Ryan's on-air slip truly the pivotal moment that destroyed their carefully curated image? Or was it merely a symptom of bigger problems buried beneath Hollywood glitz? By the end of this saga, you'll see just how precarious Blake Lively's public persona had become, and how a single miscalculated joke on live television might have sealed her fate. Before the lawsuits exploded into public view, Justin Baldoni was best known for his work on Jane the Virgin and his passion for telling uplifting stories. His involvement in adapting Colleen Hoover's novel It Ends With Us appeared to align perfectly with his mission to spotlight women's experiences and tackle sensitive topics, in this case, domestic abuse. When Blake Lively joined the project, fans applauded what seemed like a powerful collaboration between two individuals who claimed to care deeply about women's empowerment. Yet beneath the surface, friction grew. Whispers on set suggested that Blake wanted more creative control than Baldoni was comfortable handing over. She had ideas about production design, promotional strategies, and how the film should be marketed. Rumor had it that Justin wanted to keep the film's message front and center. He envisioned a respectful tribute to survivors of domestic abuse, while Blake favored glitzy press tours, pink carpets, and tie-ins to her personal brand. Small tensions escalated into bigger disagreements. For a while, these conflicts stayed under wraps. Both sides carried on with rehearsals and interviews, doing their best to keep the public narrative upbeat. It was Hollywood diplomacy at its finest. Polite smiles, talk of creative synergy, and carefully phrased interviews that hinted at healthy debates rather than outright clashes. But as production neared its end, the rift had grown too wide for either side to hide. Soon enough, the animosity between them would morph into one of the year's most shocking legal battles. December 2024 marked the moment the behind-the-scenes tension burst into public view. Blake Lively filed a lawsuit accusing Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer CEO Jamie Heath of repeated harassment and other disturbing behavior on the It Ends With Us set. On paper, the allegations were staggering. Blake painted a picture of a director who refused to respect her boundaries, fueled a toxic environment, and retaliated against her professionally when she spoke up. The response across social media was swift. Many rallied behind Blake, seeing her as a victim of a powerful Hollywood man who had crossed the line. Celebrities chimed in with messages of support, praising her bravery in coming forward. Blake's sister expressed relief that the truth was finally coming to light. Fellow actors who had once worked with her posted encouragement, reinforcing the idea that she was fighting for what was right. For a fleeting moment, it seemed that Blake Lively held the upper hand. Public perception leaned heavily in her favor. Her legal filing was detailed, bolstered by claims that Baldoni had orchestrated a campaign to tarnish her reputation. Ryan Reynolds, for his part, stood by his wife, offering thinly veiled social media comments about believing women and supporting survivors. Yet the tide began to turn when Justin Baldoni made his own move. He filed a $400 million countersuit for civil extortion, defamation, and invasion of privacy. Immediately, the headlines shifted. Instead of focusing on Blake's accusations, the media started dissecting Baldoni's claims that he was the real victim of manipulation. Caught in the middle was Ryan, whose involvement in this debacle would soon take center stage, especially once the cameras rolled on SNL. If Blake's lawsuit painted Baldoni as a callous director, his countersuit illustrated a world where Blake, was the controlling force. Baldoni released text messages, behind-the-scenes footage, and annotated timelines suggesting that Blake had demanded more than the usual creative input. According to him, she'd overstepped her role as an actress and threatened to derail the film if her requests weren't met. Some of the evidence appeared to contradict Blake's statements about feeling cornered and silenced. Baldoni argued that she was, in fact, deeply involved in every creative choice, from costume design to storyline revisions. He also maintained that her claims of subtle harassment were part of a larger smear campaign, allegedly orchestrated by Blake and Ryan's PR machine, to discredit him before the film's release. As the counter-narrative took shape, public opinion wavered. Were Blake's allegations entirely truthful, or had she spun incidents out of proportion for leverage in their power struggle? Were Baldoni's defenses merely a high-stakes attempt to save his reputation, or was he revealing that Hollywood's beloved star might have a darker side? The situation became more convoluted with each new piece of evidence. Tabloids, social media channels, and entertainment news outlets scrambled to cover the evolving story. Speculation ran rampant, and looming over the entire saga was Ryan Reynolds, whose easygoing humor had a knack for deflecting serious topics, at least until one offhand comment on live television called everything into question. Under normal circumstances, an invite to Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary event would be a crowning achievement for a Hollywood power couple. Blake and Ryan arrived in style, both projecting confidence as cameras flashed around them. Even with lawsuits swirling in the background, they hoped to keep attention on the show's festivities, rather than their personal drama. When the moment came for Ryan to banter on air, it should have been routine. But in response to a simple question, "Ryan, how's it going?" he made a quip that felt off-key to everyone watching. "Great. Why? What have you heard?" If the tension in his voice was unintentional, it didn't matter. The audience immediately interpreted his words as a veiled nod to the very controversy he was supposed to avoid. Social media lit up within minutes, speculating that Ryan had inadvertently confirmed just how strained things were behind the scenes. Sensing the awkwardness, Ryan quickly tried to pivot with a corny joke about SNL's classic Coneheads props. The hosts played along, but the crowd's reaction remained mixed. Behind him, Blake reportedly looked mortified. In one televised breath, her husband had reignited public scrutiny, making it impossible to escape questions about the lawsuit and their crumbling narrative. The fallout escalated online as viewers dissected the footage. Critics questioned whether Ryan's defensive humor hinted that the couple had more to hide. Had he grown tired of the legal mess? Was he mocking the entire situation to show that he, too, felt cornered by Blake's tactics? Fans argued in every direction, but one consensus emerged. With that brief exchange, Ryan inadvertently undercut the carefully scripted story Blake had been telling the world. In the end, it wasn't lengthy court documents or bombshell evidence that threatened Blake Lively's pristine reputation. It was one seemingly casual question on SNL, answered with an impulsive remark from Ryan Reynolds that drove home how precarious their entire situation really was. For years, Blake meticulously shaped her public persona as the effortlessly likable celebrity, a loving mother, a fashion icon, and a beacon of warmth on red carpets. That image initially helped her sway public opinion when she accused Justin Baldoni of wrongdoing. Yet as details emerged, Baldoni's counter-lawsuit, potential evidence of Blake's controlling behavior, contradictory videos, people realized the case might not be as clear-cut as it seemed. Ryan's SNL moment was the final straw. A single crack in their unified front opened the door to widespread suspicion. No longer was the question simply whether Blake had been mistreated or if Baldoni was overstepping. It was whether the entire victim versus villain narrative had been orchestrated behind closed doors. Could Blake have manipulated public sentiment to her advantage? Or had Ryan's offhand joke just painted the worst possible picture at the worst possible time? Whatever the truth, the aftermath leaves one stark lesson. In a world powered by social media and 24/7 headlines, every word matters. Every slip-up can become a PR disaster, capable of undoing months of carefully managed storytelling. Whether Blake and Ryan can recover from this fiasco, or whether Baldoni will ultimately prove his case, remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, the fallout from that tiny moment on Saturday Night Live reminds us that even the most polished celebrity images can shatter with shocking speed. Thanks for tuning in. Do you think Ryan's SNL remark was just an unlucky gaffe? Or did it reveal deeper fractures in Blake's narrative? Could Blake have saved her legal case if that moment never happened? Or was this collapse inevitable all along? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if this story kept you on edge, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more deep dives into Hollywood's most captivating showdowns. The truth may still be unfolding, so keep watching. This saga is far from over.